my friends. I'm Bee, and this is Bee's Intuition. And today we're going to do a reading. Um, I've been having an odd day, so I'm trying to think of a good topic for us to do. I feel like there's going to be a change in the energy, so maybe like what is the next change that's happening in the collective's life? I feel like that would be fun to do. Because like it really just feels like this is a time of transformation, which can usually be a hectic sort of thing. I'm getting the Tower card in my mind, and I feel like things are being shaken up right now and transforming, and I think it's ultimately for our highest good as a collective. But at the same time, that doesn't make it easy, and that doesn't mean that it doesn't come with growing pains, right? And other difficulties. But yeah, let's just dive right in. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is the next big change that's happening in the collective's life right now? Please and thank you. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So what we have the Four of Swords. This is following a time of rest or isolation. Six of Swords, things are gonna turn around for the better. You're moving out of a time of, bleakness into a time of hope. Very nice. And then the Justice card. So there's a balancing of justice taking place. Balancing out of energies. And then we have the World card. Bottom of the deck is Page of Swords. So either this is somebody in your life that is curious about you, or you're very curious about something. Or maybe keeping a curious or open mind could serve you. Okay, let's just start clarifying, shall we? Starting with the Four of Swords. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is this Four of Swords indicating for the collective? For their big changes. Okay. Okay. Well, clarifying that Four of Swords, we have... okay, if I can hold them, that's the first obstacle, I guess. Four of Cups came out in this direction. The Devil card came out in this direction. And the Queen of Pentacles came out in this direction. Oh, and then bottom of the deck is the Chariot. The Chariot, you'll say. So you... ooh, this looks like a transformation right here. So that Four of Swords was you being in isolation. And I think you did this to either protect your energy, to heal your energy, maybe just a period of recovery in general. Doesn't even have to be anything super crazy you went through, but just a feeling of like, I kind of need to spend some time alone, I think. And that was probably your intuition telling you that, like, I think I'm gonna, maybe take a step back and kind of just focus on myself for a bit. Which also kind of fits that Four of Cups, which is kind of, setting those boundaries, maintaining standards, being selective with who and what you let into your life. And because it came out like this, that is serving you. And I feel like that could even be part of what is triggering this change or transformation that you're going through. I find it very interesting that the Devil card came out like this, because when they come out in this direction, I take that as a sign that it's something that's actually pushing you forward in a positive way. So I'm getting maybe you have recently confronted some of your shadows. Maybe you've sat with your shadow parts. You could be someone that's healing that shadow self in the way of like recognizing that it's within you and not feeling like, oh, I need to hide this and be ashamed about it and feel guilty, and you know, because sometimes our shadow self just wants to be seen without being judged. And you know, your shadow self doesn't always have to be like, you know, like your evil twin or whatever, you know, like it's not like it's still a part of you, and it still deserves love, right? Because it's a part of you. um, Obviously if you're hurting yourself and others, that's another thing, that, you know, is also attached to the shadow, but it doesn't always have to be so severe, right? um, like for instance, being somebody that struggles with depression and who you are when you're going through a depression, you may say that's kind of your shadow self. Like either somebody that isn't, you know, because when we're struggling we typically don't have as much patience. You know, certain things can really rub us the wrong way and we can react to that when we're going through a difficult time. So you could maybe say, when I'm depressed, that's my shadow self that comes out. Um, but maybe coming at that shadow self from a place of compassion and being like, I understand because I'm going through a lot right now, that I'm not always going to be showing up as my best self, and that's okay. I forgive myself for that in those moments, and I do my best to make amends for what I have done. If you're hurting somebody else, or, you know, if you've been hurting yourself too, like apologize to yourself. You know, yourself needs that apology too, not just other people. um, yeah. But anyways, so with the devil coming out like this, something about your shadow self, you've you've either learned something about your shadow self. Oh, a beautiful bird. I think it was a mourning dove. Okay, anyways. Or a pigeon. Either way, I think pigeons are beautiful. I feel like they get such a bad rep, you know? Or rap, whatever that saying is. Anyways, pigeons or mourning doves could be a sign for you. Maybe confirming the positive transformation that you're going through, maybe to give you the thumbs up, like, yes, keep going down that path. But yeah, there's something about you confronting your shadow self, and you're using your shadow self to better yourself, and it's not holding you back like maybe it used to. And I think a lot of that comes from that inner knowledge of yourself. And again, like that, looking at your shadow without judging it, and maybe even accepting, like, I have these parts within me. Because like a whole nother thing is too, it's not like you're taking away your accountability when you're facing up to your shadow self and maybe accepting your shadow self. How do I word that? Yeah, I don't know how else to articulate that, but, and also I kind of lost the train of thought. So, if it comes back to me, I'll reiterate. But, you know, to summarize, with that double card coming out like that, I feel like you just have this power over your shadow self. It's no longer your shadow self being in the driver's seat. You're now in the driver's seat. And your shadow self is more of a passenger in that metaphorical car. So you know it's there, but it's like it doesn't have as much say. Oh, I think that's what I was gonna say, is like, you know, especially if like you hurt other people through your shadowy parts, you know, that kind of pop up here and there. You know, saying that you're accepting your shadow self isn't the same as using your shadow self as an excuse. Like, I can't just help, or I can't help it, I'm just, you know, made that way, and, you know, I have these shadow parts within me and I can't do anything to control them. And, you know, obviously if you feel like that, you probably do need some like therapy. or something along those lines, which I am of the belief that therapy is not a bad thing and it's no judgment to anyone. Nobody should ever judge you for either needing therapy or going to therapy. And if they do, they are most likely someone that probably needs to go to therapy themselves. Let's just be real. But it should not be a stigmatized thing to admit that you need help with your mental health. But yes, when you're accepting your shadow self, it's not the same as like, I'm just an asshole. And, I'm going to treat everybody awfully because that's just who I am. That's my shadow self. And I accept my shadow self. No. Accepting your shadow self, you can accept your shadow self while still working through that shadow. I think a lot of us probably never fully work through our shadow. Like, I don't think that process ever fully ends in our lifetime. I think that we're always constantly realizing more things about our shadow self, certain triggers that trigger that shadow self. It's about being wise and conscious of that thing, that shadow self within you, and trying your best to improve upon that, Like if if every time I saw somebody wearing white shoes, I got extremely angry and started cussing at them and cursing at them and stuff, that would be my hang up, right? That has nothing to do with the person that's wearing white shoes. It's just the white shoes are triggering my shadow self and making me react. Because that's the thing too, is like, something can trigger your shadow self, but especially as human beings, we need to realize that the way we have become, a developed society is through not just accepting these parts of ourselves and that's it, but learning self-control and realizing that just because something's happening within you does not mean you need to act on that and lash out at other people. Which I feel like a good amount of you probably already know this, but for, the people that are coming through randomly and maybe need to hear this message, like, you can accept your shadow self. Be like, okay, this is a part of me. Maybe there's something behind that shadow self that it's trying to convey to me, such as, like, the color white reminds me of when I was a kid, and I don't know, something about the color white was traumatizing. Like, it could be trying to communicate something to you. So there's like this acknowledging your shadow self, realizing that it's there, maybe looking more deeply into it, but also trying your best to, heal or not let these things and triggers and shadow parts to come out in toxic ways that are actually going to make a 3D real world issue, cause some sort of issue or damage in the 3D. That's something that is important to keep in mind. But yeah, I think you pretty much know what I'm saying because of how the cards came out. This is probably something that you are well aware of. And then the Queen of Pentacles coming out like that. All this work that you have been doing on yourself is ultimately bringing about this stability, abundance, position of power even potentially. You're being seen as someone that is definitely respectable and somebody that's stable, abundant. There's almost like this effortlessness to this figure as well. I love this depiction of the Queen of Pentacles. She's gorgeous. Especially with the peach colors. Like, oh, are you kidding me? That's so beautiful. Anyways. I just wish that there were more POC or BIPOC people in the deck. And just in tarot decks in general. Like, why is it so rare to find melanated people, in these cards? Anyways, little tangent. But anyways, hopefully in the future I'll be able to, like, get a more inclusive sort of tarot deck. I would love to do that at some point. Also, although I didn't purchase this deck myself, I actually got it as a gift. It was on my Amazon wish list, and I wish I kind of looked more deeply into it, because I am fairly certain that these are most likely AI generated images, which kind of makes me feel little bit bummed out, because there's certain details that are just not right, and a human artist probably would have done a better job depicting these, but it is what it is, I guess, and I don't want the deck to go to waste. So, and somebody put in the effort to purchase this for me as a gift, so I feel like that also kind of means that I should use it as well. And also, like, the deck is pretty, so it's not like ugly by any means, but it's I probably wouldn't have put it on my Amazon wish list if I had known it's AI generated images. But anyways, now that's everything nowadays is AI. I should have known. Anyways. Oh, and then there's also the I guess it's like an ethical dilemma about AI generated images, because most of the time they use images of other people's like human art in their depictions. They'll like take pieces of like other people's art and use it in these, random AI generated images, and never credit the original artist. So that's another reason why it's sort of unethical to have, or not to have, but rather just to support AI stuff, because it does impact real artists. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. But yeah, you're gonna be looking so stunning, so stable, so abundant, and people are gonna see it as effortless. I feel like, definitely based on all of this energy, it is not effortless on your end. You're putting in a lot of effort, but I feel like it's going to be worth it, because I feel like you're gonna be coming into a time of it paying off for you. Okay, let's look at this Chariot at the bottom of the deck. There's something that about your destiny or your purpose here that you are either learning or becoming more confident in. I feel like there is a path that is becoming illuminated to you, and it's allowing you to go down that path towards your destiny, what you're meant to do here. There's almost even this sense of being all fired up and ready to go. Excuse me. Let's see what's underneath that Chariot. 8 of Wands. That could definitely be incoming communication, especially a message that maybe you don't see coming, but it's like really positive. So this could bring the news of like something to do with your purpose or your path that you're heading down. Could also have something to do with you coming into this Queen of Pentacles energy, this abundance here. I'm just curious what's underneath that 8 of Wands. Queen of Cups. Oh, so you're looking real good. I'm almost even getting that, because the Queen of Cups is underneath this 8 of Wands, I'm almost getting that this message or whatever, this good positive energy coming in towards you, suddenly it's going to make you very happy, I feel. And you're gonna just be in this lovely high vibration sort of energy. And there's like a glow about you for sure when these blessings hit you and this transformation takes place. Okay, let's go on to the 6 of Swords now, please and thank you, Spirit. But yeah, let's clarify that 6 of Swords, please and thank you, Spirit. What do we have for the 6 of Swords? So, okay. We got, for the 6 of Swords, that is clarified by the Hermit. And it came out in this direction. And then we have the 9 of Cups and the Death card. Bottom of the deck is Ace of Wands. So I feel like, especially with the way that the Hermit card came out, it came out in this direction, and that's telling me that you've done more than just the Four of Swords. You've gone through your Hermit mode, and that's a big deal. The Hermit mode is, because I see the Four of Swords almost as a more mini, like a mini version of the Hermit card, because it is like that, has to do with like that self-isolation and stuff, and reflection. But it's usually not as intensive or extensive. What's the word I'm looking for? Intensive, I think, is the right word. But anyways, as the Hermit phase. Like, the Hermit phase is very deep, and it has, like, it's almost like you even may come to an epiphany through going through this Hermit phase. You're figuring out things about yourself, you're learning things about yourself that are probably really important for you to know. And it's creating a bunch of wisdom for you, and this wisdom is guiding you in a certain direction, which is where you're supposed to be. And this knowledge, wisdom that you've gained, I think that's why this transformation is taking place. This is clarifying the Six of Swords, which is moving out of a, bleaker time into a more positive, hopeful time. And so I think that this Hermit phase, and what you've gained out of going through that, is something that's helping you shift and change towards more positivity and positive energy, more hopeful energy. And so when it came out, it was the Death card on top, so maybe I should read it like Death card and then Nine of Cups. And it, the Death card is so funny that it came out, because this is literally a card of transformation here. It's the card of change, transformation, endings, but those are endings that lead somewhere. Like, there's a purpose to that ending. And it's helping you transform. But yeah, you're going through a pretty dramatic, the Death card is probably one of the most significant indicators of like a big transformation. It is also a major arcana, which kind of intensifies the impact, I guess, of the meaning behind the card. But yeah, so there's like this drastic transformation. There could be a glow up involved in this, but not necessarily. I feel like, if anything, it's a lot of energy that's coming into your life. You could be feeling very energized, because I'm very drawn to the flames around the horse's feet, as if like this horse is like, roaring and ready to go. Like, he's like, oh, I need to skedaddle. I have all this energy. Gotta skedaddle. And then the Nine of Cups, that is a wish fulfillment. Something that is going to make you very happy and feel very content within yourself, within your life. I like to see the Nine of Cups too as like a something that you did yourself that is leading to that contentment and happiness in your life. So it's like you can thank yourself at the end of the day for putting in this work, because the payoff, it's like it's all due to you and your hard work. And the fact that you never gave up. You kept going, even when it probably looked very bleak or like nothing good was going to come of it. You believed. You kept pushing. And that's paying off for you. And then the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Creativity and passion are definitely driving you. There's something about following your dreams here, or manifesting your dreams. You have a lot of power in your hand right now to do that. Okay, never mind. I thought I felt one of the cards stick out in a weird way. Let's see what's underneath the Ace of Wands. The Sun card. Yeah, so literally you're coming into a time of happiness, which I was getting with the Nine of Cups. This transformation is leading to so much happiness and fulfillment for you. And maybe also, I'm getting like other people as well will also feel happy. So either they're happy for you, or maybe this next phase you're going into, you're like a very big influence in the lives of others, and you make other people feel very happy, just naturally maybe. I want to see what's underneath this Sun card. The Fool. So there's that new beginning. And the Fool card is really beautiful because Spirit is right there next to you, encouraging you to go down this new path, this new beginning. And there's that trust that comes along with the Fool card of like, I trust the divine is not leading me down a road that leads to a dead end, but rather a road that leads to my purpose, my destiny. Very beautiful. Okay, let's go on to the Justice card now. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is going on with that Justice card? Please and thank you. What is transforming for the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. What are these changes with that Justice card? Okay. I think there was some I flipped over inside the deck. Let's see. There we go. Anything else in there? Anything else in the deck? Okay, so since these flipped... No, I think it was actually these that came out first. Okay, I actually need a sip. Alrighty. Clarifying that Justice card. We have the Hanged Man coming out in this direction. The Justice card coming out in the... Oh, okay. The Justice card coming out in this direction. Nine of Pentacles coming out in this direction. So, this to me feels like fear. And that fear has been holding you back potentially. Because it's almost like you doubt that this justice is possible. In some way. Like something that would be very good, just, it would be like justice is served. It would balance the scales in your life. You feel like that's not possible perhaps because the Hanged Man, that is like a very thoughtful energy, you know, kind of being, you know, it's usually a trap that the Hanged Man is in, and, you know, it's not an ideal situation where he's like hanging upside down and he's just like kind of stuck there, but that moment allows him to think things through and maybe even see things from a different perspective and gain some sort of knowledge from the experience. With it coming out like this, maybe you've been paused for too long when it comes to something. Maybe Spirit is directing you to take action on something that maybe you've been hesitant to. Or you're feeling like because of whatever situation you're going through right now, you may be feeling like that is creating a sense of a blockage and creating more of this fear. Because I think that is why the Justice card and the Nine of Pentacles came out like that. Because it's like you want justice, but you're feeling like it's not being served, and the scales that should be balanced are just not working in your favor. And there's like fear of like, okay, because I don't have this sense of balance now, or because I don't have this sense of justice now, that's never gonna come. And those mindsets are kind of holding you back to a certain extent, or they were before you went through this transformation. And then the Nine of Pentacles as well, I feel like this is kind of attached to that Justice card of like something that would balance out the scales, something that would make things right in your life, has a lot to do with your abundance and a sense of independence, creating that abundance and stability for yourself and feeling the security that comes along with that. But you're like worried that that's never gonna happen. But because they came out like this rather than in the reverse, I'm inclined to say that it's probably going to happen. It just may not happen in the timing that you thought it would, and maybe that's kind of creating a deception within yourself, is like, because you can't see it, that it's never going to come. So I would maybe encourage you to just be like, keep feeling little buggies on my yeah, I would say just try your best not to give up hope, because I feel like something is coming for you and it's probably what you wanted. It probably just will be in a different sort of timing, or maybe not the exact circumstances that you were, planning on. Could even take you off guard. Like it could be like something that kind of comes out of the blue and it's like different than something that you have experienced before. Oh, yes, something that is surprising you. It could be like in the format of, this is going to sound so silly, but it's like sometimes we get so hung up on like, if we are to say establish ourselves and gain independent stability, all that. It's almost like you may have like a very specific idea of how that's going to look or how that's going to take place. So maybe for an example, you're anticipating, or rather maybe you're trying to manifest for yourself, trying to manifest for yourself like maybe like more income or more financial abundance and stability. But maybe your mind is sort of set around like, okay, this is only going to be coming from my boss, and this money that I want to have to come into my life, it either has to come from my boss or I'm not going to receive this abundance at all, because maybe that's just how you kind of think it's going to play out, or that would be the only rational or reasonable outcomes, that it comes directly from your boss at your job. But what if this stability, abundance, financial abundance that comes in is completely something that you didn't even see coming, like maybe some sort of inheritance even, or hitting the lottery, or like there's so many different ways that money can come and flow into your life. So maybe there's something here about like just keeping an open mind and not holding on to expectations, because sometimes those expectations, believe it or not, can be limiting, because like if you're thinking the whole time, it has to come from my boss, so that is the only possible source of money, income, abundance that is possible for me. What if like that money is meant to come from like a side gig or a hobby of yours that you could monetize? Like, there's other ways for that money to flow into your life. So just try your best not to put too much expectation around, especially the appearance or source of that blessing that you want to come into your life, if that makes sense. But yeah, so we got the 8 of Pentacles coming out upright, 6 of Cups coming out upright, 10 of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, and Page of Wands. Also, bottom of the deck is, friend. There we go. The Chariot again. There's like big epiphanies that you're having about your path, your destiny, the path to your destiny, your purpose. I feel that something that you're realizing, or maybe something like hits you out of nowhere, and maybe it's like the after effect of like what I was saying, like maybe you're gonna receive financial abundance, but it's from like the most unlikely source, or happenstance. 8 of Pentacles, you have been really focusing on your work, your passions, the things that can create that financial abundance and stability. And I feel like that is really good. There's also mastery that comes along with the 8 of Pentacles, because it's like you're spending so long working at your craft or whatever it is that you are investing your time and energy into. And you're doing it for so long, very consistently, to the point where you become a master at that thing. So that could even be a message here, is like, trust that you are very knowledgeable when it comes to whatever you've been focusing your energy on, whatever could bring about abundance, or that does bring about abundance. Six of Cups. This is like a card of like reflecting on the past, but it's like a very positive. Sorry, Aunt, I can't have you crawling on my leg. It will tickle me too much. Six of Cups. Yeah, this is usually like nostalgia, or nostalgia, or like, you know, good vibes from your past, like reflecting on the past in a positive way. And so they're, oh wait, I'm getting a different message now. So I'm getting the message that maybe, especially because of the image, something that maybe you wanted or needed as a child that you didn't get, you want to be the person that provides that for others. And that could be attached to this Eight of Pentacles. Like your Eight of Pentacles, whatever you're working towards, whatever you've been investing in, could have something to do with creating happiness for others, not just yourself. And maybe providing something that you desperately maybe wanted as a child that you never got. And so maybe you're trying to be a source of that for maybe the next generation even, you know? Beautiful energy with that. Oh, the sun's starting to get to me. I was hoping the shade would last a little bit longer, but oh well. Knight of Swords. So this could be somebody coming in with a message, you know, quickly out of nowhere. Could have something to do with something related to this, what you've been investing in. Also could be exposing the truth or information coming to light. There is a message here with this Knight of Swords. So either somebody directly gives you that message, or maybe there's like, you know, sudden information coming to light, or maybe a truth being exposed, maybe somebody exposing the truth of a situation even. But yeah, it's fast incoming change and messages from that. And it's interesting in this image how he's like in the clouds, like he's flying. And clouds are, you know, higher. I'm getting like something that has to do with like moving up, becoming, maybe something to do with your higher self even. Like you're coming into your more truer higher self or something, like, or you're ascending in some way. Well, we have the Ten of Pentacles after that, so could even be that something that you thought maybe didn't have that much potential to be that you thought maybe didn't have the potential to go so far, or produce abundance, financial abundance, or whatever. Like the payoff is way bigger and better than you maybe even thought was possible with this, whatever you've been investing in. I think that's going to make you feel really happy, and there's something about you keeping your optimism, even if it does feel like, you know, oh, this thing's never going to work out, or this is never going to come into my life. Keeping that optimism is going to be important. But I do feel like this sense of happiness and like you glowing. I feel like especially when you start to feel the payoff, you're going to be in a very excited, optimistic energy about things. Okay, and then the Chariot card at the bottom of the deck. So definitely something that's related to your journey here towards your path and your destiny. Let's see what's underneath the Chariot. Eight of Wands still, so yep, there is some sort of incoming message, I feel, or communication that is communicating something big here and positive. And I'm just curious if that's under Six of Swords. So we did see the Six of Swords earlier, and so that's just further communicating you're coming out of this time of darkness and into a time of happiness and hope. Good, good, good. All right, let's go on to the World card now. Please and thank you, Spirit. Can you clarify that World card for us? What's changing with the collective when it comes to that World card? Ooh, not too many. There's definitely something about closing out cycles, opening a new one, which kind of goes with that Six of Swords energy I was getting, of you like moving out of a darker time into a brighter, hopeful, more hopeful time. Okay, so we got two that came out. We got the Queen of Cups and the Strength card. You've been super strong. You've been hanging in there, no matter what. I'm getting like in my mind an image of a dog. You know how they hang on to those rope toys so hard, and maybe if it's a smaller dog, you can kind of lift them up by the rope toy that they have in their mouth, and they're just not letting go. They're just hanging on. I don't know why that's coming into my mind, but it's like, I think it's kind of speaking about you and your strength here. It could even be your strength of your heart. Keeping your heart open no matter how bad you've been hurt in the past. That could be a superpower of yours. That you're loving no matter how you were treated in the past. But yeah, the Strength card is giving me that image of that dog with the rope toy in his mouth, and he's just like holding on for dear life, like nothing's gonna separate that dog from that toy. But I feel like that's kind of how you've been with your goals, how you've been with like the things that you've been wanting or needing to improve upon. You're just like so determined, and you're just like in it. I think maybe even has like, is now getting the Chariot card in my head, and it's almost like you are, instead of a rope toy, I feel like what you're really holding on to is this idea about your destiny. Like, even if you don't know specifically what your purpose is or what the future will entail for you, I feel like there's like this hopefulness and determination that comes with that. But in this like strength mode, you're holding on to your softness as well and your emotions. You're not closing yourself off completely. You're still in that loving, beautiful vibration. And I feel like these are what you're going to be seen as when you are coming into this success and transformation. You're going to be seen as this Queen of Cups, somebody that is so loving, somebody that loves themselves, somebody that also is like very beautiful and radiant and just fun to be around, like a good vibe. And then the Strength card as well. People are going to be like, wow, that person is so strong. How'd they get through all that? Or, you know, how did they bounce back from that? Or, you know, wow, they've just been through so much. I'm impressed. There's something about you being very impressive to the people that are seeing you go through this. It almost feels like a spiritual glow up. I feel like there's something about the light within starting to glow because of you being on this journey. It's noticeable to other people. 10 of Wands, you probably have been feeling super overburdened, overtired, like everything is stacked upon your shoulders specifically, and you're like, I don't know if this is really fair, right? Because it's like, why is everything on my shoulders? Why am I responsible for all of this? Because it even feels like some things that you didn't even need to be responsible for, you are responsible for here. I want to see what's underneath that 10 of Wands. The High Priestess. So I was hoping that this would actually show up, because I was just saying that light within is starting to glow and people are seeing that. Definitely listen to your intuition and the divine, because you're receptive of your through your intuition and of the divine and the divine's messages. So trust in that. And maybe something about trusting in that intuition, trusting in spirit, is alleviating you of this pressure that you've been holding on to, or that has been, you know, kind of lingering for a while. I want to see what's underneath that High Priestess. 7 of Swords. Something about a deception, but this could be a self-deception. This could even be maybe your ego or shadow self within trying to convince you that your intuition is not correct, or that these messages that you're getting are not from the divine, and so there may be a call for you to really trust in these messages, because they're leading to you embracing yourself and embracing your own light, and it's allowing you to glow. The moon card, yeah. So that has to do with the fear inside. It has to do a lot with emotions. So could be very emotional, but mostly it's like the fear of the unknown and facing that. So it's like, yeah, kind of like when you do trust your intuition, it takes practice, because it's like sometimes, and especially when you're starting out trusting your intuition, you're like, I'm insane. I have no proof whatsoever that my intuition is correct, but I'm still gonna, believe in it. I'm gonna trust in spirit. I'm gonna trust that this is, maybe the path that I'm supposed to go down. And then it's only in hindsight that you see, like, oh, okay, like that's why, things had to happen the way that they did, or, maybe I didn't see the results and the timing that I wanted, and so I sort of maybe read between the lines and stuff and maybe made up a certain narrative around that. But yeah, I think that you're going to be stepping into a new chapter, and it's coming through your intuition and your messages from the divine. Yeah, and it's going to be something that eases your burdens. With the Page of Swords at the bottom of this deck, I was getting something about curiosity, which it could be somebody that is curious about you, or maybe you're curious about something or someone. I want to see what's underneath. The High Priestess. Okay, so yeah, you're super intuitive, super tapped into the divine. You're getting those messages. I think it's a matter of you just needing to trust in them, even if you don't have the evidence. Because it's only in hindsight that you see, like, oh, I was right, my intuition was correct. That message was real, Let's see what's underneath the High Priestess. King of Pentacles. So you have a lot of pentacle energy in this reading, and so I think you are coming into this time of abundance and that power that comes along with being in this influential position. But also, because you were showing up as the Queen of Pentacles earlier, this could be a counterpart for sure that's coming in. But even if it's not, it could just be you balancing your inner feminine and masculine energies, and that really serving you. Could even help you navigate this path easier and bring about that abundance maybe even faster, because you're balancing out both energies. All right, so we got the what is it called? Woodland Warden's Oracle deck. I've been doing the card of the day with this guy, so we're going to use that for any additional messages that Spirit may have when it comes to this reading. Please and thank you, Spirit. Any other changes, or what's going on with the changes for the collective? Okay, so we have the Bear and Cedar, and that stands for, or indicates, leadership. Leadership. Yeah, so there's something about you taking on a more leadership position, and I feel like I felt that through the King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups as well. Yeah, maybe you're meant to be a leader in some regard. You're meant to lead, you're meant to share something with others. It probably has something to do with your knowledge. And then bottom of the deck we have the Bobcat and the Blackthorn, which represents patience. And that goes hand in hand with that Strength card. That also has to do with, embracing patience. I do want to kind of just take a little peek in the book real quick, because they have messages attached to the cards, obviously. So upright, this is: the spirit of the bear is guiding you to leadership opportunities and reminding you to rule with fairness and care, which I think that that's perfect. Like, yeah, that's exactly who you're showing up as. with that Queen of Cups and that Strength card. You're a leader, but you're also, you know, healing, protective, you know, I'm seeing like other keywords here. So like, I feel like you're going to be the right kind of person to be in a position of power, because you're not going to be egotistical with it. You're not going to let this power go to your head. You're trusted with this power because you are not unfair. You're not going to be... Sorry, I'm like trying to find the other... Where is this? Oh, it's an XL. Okay. How do you... Apparently I don't know how... Oh, okay. I don't know how Roman numerals work, apparently, because that's the numbers of the cards and stuff. But anyways, yeah, so the book, in regards to this one, when that card is upright, a difficult journey ahead requires preparation and patience. Channel the bobcat's stealth and pack plenty of provisions. Ration your sustenance carefully, remembering that berries are often sweetest after a hard frost. I didn't know that. Yeah, so it says difficult journey ahead, but I really don't think it's going to be as difficult as your past. And maybe that was the difficult part, is just overcoming your past and maybe the after results of going through something substantial here. But pretty much it's just telling you to just be wise and, you know, don't... It definitely seems like it's about like harnessing your energy and not just expending your energy needlessly. Like holding some energy for yourself, keeping that balance as well as patience is kind of what I got from that. Okay, so yeah, I think that's the reading. I really hope that you enjoyed this, and if it resonated at all, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective, because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. If you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you the next time that I upload. And thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye!